Hello students, we shall learn today unsymmetrical fault analysis. Before proceeding further, let us first understand what is meant by unsymmetrical or unbalanced system. A three-phase system is said to be unbalanced if voltage phasors or current phasors are not having equal amplitudes or they are not apart from each other by 120 degree. This is a very simple understanding of unbalanced three-phase system. Now when the fault takes place in the power system and if after occurrence of the fault system becomes unbalanced, such a fault is named as an unsymmetrical fault. So this is the definition of an unsymmetrical fault. Now what are the types of the unsymmetrical fault we have to learn in this chapter? Let us take a look at the roadmap. Unsymmetrical faults can be classified broadly into two categories. One is shunt or short circuit fault and another is series or open circuit faults. Single line to ground fault, it means an LG fault. Double line fault, it means an LL fault. And double line to ground fault, an LLG fault. These three faults are known as shunt or short circuit faults. Fourth one conductor open fault and two conductors open fault. These two faults 4 and 5 are pertaining to category of series or open circuit faults. Now before proceeding further to analyze these faults, we are going to take a look at the representation of synchronous generator in terms of sequence networks. We have already learned symmetrical components and representations of sequence components for various power system components. When synchronous generator is unloaded, we can represent positive sequence network, negative sequence network and zero sequence network using this equivalent circuit model. Positive sequence network will be always having a source in single phase representation. This is the positive sequence network representation, and we also know the phasor sequence like this: IA1, IB1 and IC1. You can see this is the clockwise direction for the sake of simplicity of the understanding. Negative sequence won't be having any source. Why? Because machines are not designed to generate the negative sequence naturally. And here we can see that the phasors IA2, IB2 and IC2 will be in the anti-clockwise directions. Zero sequence network phasors are co-phasal, and mind well, zero sequence current can only flow if the neutral is grounded directly or via some Zn or impedance or resistance or reactance depending on the type of the grounding system, and that Zn will be reflected as a 3Zn in zero sequence network representation. It is also not having any kind of active source. Why? Because machine is not naturally designed to have any zero sequence current, and the zero sequence phasors are co-phasal. They are parallel to each other. That's why they are co-phasal. So now let us take first fault, and that is an LG fault, line to ground fault. When an LG fault occurs on a three-phase unloaded synchronous generator, we must represent first the terminal conditions. Now the terminal conditions are those conditions, they are considered simultaneously at the same point of all the three phases. It means phase A, phase B and phase C. Fault is considered to be simulated only on phase A. Now what will be the conditions at phase B and C at that time when fault takes place at phase A? These are named as terminal conditions or boundary conditions. This is an unloaded synchronous generator. Now let us define the boundary conditions. Here line to ground fault is happening on phase A to ground via this ZF. ZF is known as the fault through impedance. So definitely there is a potential difference between the phase A and the ground point due to this presence of ZF. If ZF is 0, the fault is said to be a bolted fault or solid fault. Neutral is again grounded via Zn, and this is the three-phase representation. So now let us define the boundary conditions first. So definitely first boundary conditions is my fault current IA itself is flowing from phase A to ground via ZF. So the potential difference between this phase A and ground is VA via ZF, can be represented as VA is equal to IA into ZF or IF into ZF. Here fault current IF is to be derived, and fault current IF is itself IA phase current. Now at that time as machine was unloaded before occurrence of the fault, IB phase current and IC phase current in the boundary condition should be 0. So definitely IB and IC will be 0. Now let us use the symmetrical component transformation matrix to understand or to represent these phase quantities into sequence quantities. So we can easily define this IA1, IA2, IA0 in terms of IA, IB, IC using this transformation matrix, and that is what we already learned. And from this we can understand this IA1, IA2, IA0, all these are equal. It means that the sequence current, positive sequence current, negative sequence current and zero sequence current, they are equal and they are always equal to fault current divided by 3. This is the main identification of an LG fault. Do mind well, whenever you hear an LG fault, first strike in your mind is that all the 3 sequence currents are same. Do mind well, this is the first condition what we have derived from the boundary conditions. Boundary conditions can be easily seen from the network diagram, but using symmetrical components we can derive rest of the conditions and the expressions for the currents. So now let us have a look on the interconnections of 3 sequence networks. As the 3 sequence currents are same, definitely 3 sequence networks must be connected in series. So in a block diagram we can understand positive sequence network, negative sequence network and zero sequence network. We can connect these blocks of networks in series via 3ZF. This is 3ZF is appearing because this ZF is actually in series with Zn. So in case of the zero sequence network, Zn is reflected as 3Zn. We have already seen in symmetrical components. Now ZF is now no more different from Zn. They are in series. Why? Because from the neutral to the fault point, ZF and Zn, they are in series. So as 3Zn comes, 3ZF will also come. So in the series connections of the sequence network, definitely Zn is also 3 times Zn and ZF is also 3ZF. All the 3 sequence currents are same. Now this is the block representation and this is the circuit representation. Zero sequence network, negative sequence network and positive sequence network all are in series. Only positive sequence network has source. Now let us derive fault current equation by first finding out sequence current. So before proceeding further, you must remember 3 basic equations of sequence voltages VA1, VA2 and VA0. VA1 is always equal to EA minus IA1Z1, VA2 is minus IA2Z2, VA0 is minus IA0Z0. And using these 3 basic equations and putting this 3 into the first equation, VA is equal to IA into ZF. This is my first boundary conditions. So put this second row equations into first row equations, that is boundary conditions, to derive IA1. So when you simplify this equation and you put this derived condition IA1 equal to IA2 equal to IA0, you will find IA1 is always equal to EA upon Z1 plus Z2 plus Z0 plus 3ZF. It means fault current is 3 times the sequence current. Why? Because your IA1, IA2, IA0 was equal to 1 upon 3 into IF, and that's why IF is 3 times EA upon Z1 plus Z2 plus Z0 plus 3ZF. Now do mind well, this Z0 is representative of zero sequence impedance of the machine, and that is equal to how much? It is Z0G plus 3Zn. Z0Z is actually synchronous machine's leakage reactance offered to the zero sequence current. Now let us take next fault, an LL fault, and let us take an unloaded synchronous machine wherein fault is assumed to be occurring between phase B and phase C via ZF. ZF could also be 0, that will be a very simple problem, but we will not take first ZF equal to 0. Now let us put the boundary conditions. What will be the boundary conditions? It means that before occurrence of the fault there was no current in phase A. Now when fault takes place between B and C, fault current IB and IC will flow, and IB, if I assume IB is greater than IC at any time, then IB is itself the fault current and that is equal to minus IC. So first boundary conditions is IA equal to 0. Second boundary condition is IB equal to minus IC, and that is itself fault current to be obtained using symmetrical components. And third boundary condition is the potential difference between phase B and C under the fault condition. So VB minus VC is this, you can say IB into ZF, or you can say minus IC into ZF, and that is equal to IF into ZF. Do mind well, if ZF is 0, means phase B and phase C, they are shorted directly, then definitely VB equal to VC, both are same. But here ZF is not considered 0. Now let us use the symmetrical components to derive the further parameters. Let us use sequence components and the boundary conditions. Put IA equal to 0 and IC equal to minus IB. So definitely it will lead us to this IA1 and IA2 to be equal but opposite, and IA0 equal to 0. These two conditions, IA0 equal to 0 and IA1 equal to minus IA2, these two are big identities of an LL fault. So whenever you hear an LL fault, you must have strike in your mind that there is no presence of zero sequence current, and positive and negative sequence currents are equal but they are flowing in the opposite direction. It will help us construct interconnections of the sequence networks in the further slides. But now let us try to go for some mathematical formulations to derive an expression for fault current. We know that VA1 and VA2 both can be expressed from this basic relationship, and now let us substitute VC in terms of VB. So we can write VC equal to VB minus IB into ZF. This is what I have kept from third boundary conditions from the first slide of this fault. Fine. So here we can have this equation number 1. Now equation number 1 represents relationship between VA1 and this VA and VB. Now for VA2 we can also have such an expression. Now we can again replace VC in terms of VB, and we will have this equation number 2. It is also 1 upon 3 VA minus VB, but it contains VA2. Now equation number 1 and 2, they are same, both are having same right hand side, so we can equate them, and ultimately we will be in a position to derive relationship between VA1 and VA2, equating equation number 1 and 2, and also substitute IB on both of the sides as IB1 plus IB2 plus IB0, and also replace IB1 by A square IA1, IB2 by AIA2, and IB0 by AIA0. Mind well, this fault has no zero sequence currents, so IA0, IB0, IC0 all are 0. Now further simplifying this equation, keep VA1 and IA1 on this side, keep VA2 and IA2 on the other side, and then use the derived condition that IA1 equal to minus IA2. Two sequence currents are equal but opposite for positive and negative sequence network respectively. We will be having this most important equation, that the potential difference between two sequence networks, it means VA1 minus VA2 is equal to IA1 into ZF. This equation is very important and very significant to understand interconnections of positive and negative sequence networks, what we have to construct in the further slides. Suppose if you assume there is no fault through impedance, ZF equal to 0. If ZF equal to 0, then VA1 minus VA2 is equal to 0. It means that VA1 and VA2, they are same. VA1 is equal to VA2. It means that positive and negative sequence networks are in parallel. And this IA1 and IA2, they are getting injected into each other. They are same. They are equal but opposite. But even though if ZF is not 0, even though ZF is not equal to 0, VA1 minus VA2 potential drop is across ZF through this IA1 or due to this current IA1 or minus IA2. Fine. So now let us derive the fault current equation further using these three basic equations and the basic equations of VA1, VA2, VA0. So do mind well, VA1 is equal to EA minus this IA1 into Z1, VA2 is minus IA2 into Z2, and put the value of minus IA2 equal to IA1, what we have derived, here there is no question of having zero sequence currents or voltage. Why? Because this is an LL fault current. We have already seen in the derivations in the previous slides. So simplifying these equations using the equation number 3, that VA1 minus VA2 is equal to potential drop IA1 into ZF. Now put the values of VA1 and VA2. We will be having this equation of IA1 is equal to EA upon Z1 plus Z2 plus ZF. Now fault current is actually IB, and IB is equal to IB1 plus IB2 plus IB0. IB0 is 0. So now put the values of this IB1 in terms of IA1 as A square IA1 and IB2 is equal to AIA2. Further simplifying, you will find IF or fault current is equal to A square minus A into EA upon Z1 plus Z2 plus ZF, or you can say it is minus J root 3 EA upon Z1 plus Z2 plus ZF. Now let us go for interconnections of sequence networks. See, as I told you, sequence networks equating equation number 1 and 2, and also substitute IB on both of the sides as IB1 plus IB2 plus IB0, and also replace IB1 by A square IA1, IB2 by AIA2 and IB0 by AIA0. Mind well, this fault has no zero sequence currents, so IA0, IB0, IC0 all are 0. Now further simplifying this equation, keep VA1 and IA1 on this side, keep VA2 and IA2 on the other side, and then use the derived condition that IA1 equal to minus IA2. Two sequence currents are equal but opposite for positive and negative sequence network respectively. We will be having this most important equation, that the potential difference between two sequence networks, it means VA1 minus VA2 is equal to IA1 into ZF. This equation is very important and very significant to understand interconnections of positive and negative sequence networks, what we have to construct in the further slides. Suppose if you assume there is no fault through impedance, ZF equal to 0. If ZF equal to 0, then VA1 minus VA2 is equal to 0. It means that VA1 and VA2, they are same. VA1 is equal to VA2. It means that positive and negative sequence networks are in parallel. And this IA1 and IA2, they are getting injected into each other. They are same. They are equal but opposite. But even though if ZF is not 0, even though ZF is not equal to 0, VA1 minus VA2 potential drop is across ZF through this IA1 or due to this current IA1 or minus IA2. Fine. So now let us derive the fault current equation further. Using these three basic equations and the basic equations of VA1, VA2, VA0. So do mind well, VA1 is equal to EA minus this IA1 into Z1, VA2 is minus IA2 into Z2, and put the value of minus IA2 equal to IA1, what we have derived. Here there is no question of having zero sequence currents or voltage. Why? Because this is an LL fault current. We have already seen in the derivations in the previous slides. So simplifying these equations using the equation number 3, that VA1 minus VA2 is equal to potential drop IA1 into ZF. Now put the values of VA1 and VA2. We will be having this equation of IA1 is equal to EA upon Z1 plus Z2 plus ZF. Now fault current is actually IB, and IB is equal to IB1 plus IB2 plus IB0. IB0 is 0. So now put the values of this IB1 in terms of IA1 as A square IA1 and IB2 is equal to AIA2. Further simplifying, you will find IF or fault current is equal to A square minus A into EA upon Z1 plus Z2 plus ZF, or you can say it is minus J root 3 EA upon Z1 plus Z2 plus ZF. Now let us take a look at the interconnection of three sequence networks. One thing is to be kept in mind: in case of LL fault, zero sequence network won't appear in the interconnection, and positive and negative sequence networks are interconnected just like in a parallel fashion via potential drop in ZF due to IA1 or minus IA2. So zero sequence network will be hanging in the air, and positive and negative sequence networks are interconnected in the parallel fashion via ZF, and into ZF, IA1 and IA2 both are getting injected in the opposite direction. So this is what is also justifying the equations we derived. Now in terms of the circuit equivalent in terms of the equivalent circuit interconnections, positive sequence network is having a source and Z1, a negative sequence network won't be having any source but only Z2, and this is via ZF. Now this interconnection represents a simple loop having a one source and three impedances Z1, Z2 and ZF in series. So directly looking at this interconnection, we can also easily derive by Ohm's law an expression for the sequence current Ia1 equal to minus Ia2 equal to V by Z equivalent. Z equivalent is equal to Z1 plus Z2 plus ZF. Let us recapitulate an LL fault. Here the main identity is there is no presence of zero sequence network. It means that there is no zero sequence current or zero sequence voltage. Second, positive and negative sequence currents are always equal, but you can say opposite, and they will be flowing through ZF. Positive and negative sequence networks are interconnected in parallel fashion via potential drop across ZF, or you can say potential drop of ZF. If ZF equal to 0, definitely VA1 and VA2 they are same. Let us take the next fault, an LLG fault. Here an unloaded synchronous machine is simulated for an LLG fault on phase B and phase C through ZF. So let us put the boundary condition. First Ia equal to 0. Second boundary conditions will be IB plus IC will form the fault current IF through ZF, and the voltage of phase B and phase C they are equal, they are shorted, and that is responsible for flowing of this IF current in ZF. So VB and VC are same, and that is equal to IF into ZF. So let us put all the three boundary conditions. Ia equal to 0, IB plus IC is equal to IF, VB equal to VC equal to IF into ZF. Now let us deploy symmetrical components transformation for voltages and currents. Here IA is Ia0 plus Ia1 plus Ia2. Now first boundary condition is Ia equal to 0. Now when you put Ia equal to 0, so it says the algebraic sum of three currents meeting at a junction is 0. So that is the you can say this is the proof of KCL for the three sequence networks. So when we are going to construct the interconnection of three sequence network, this relationship, that summation, this algebraic sum of all the three currents meeting at a junction is 0, it will be helpful. Now let us go for this VA1, VA2 and VA0 relationship derivation. Now put the boundary condition 3 in this VA1, VA2 and VA0. We will be having this VA1 equal to 1 upon 3 VA minus VB, VA2 is equal to 1 upon 3 VA minus VB, and VA0 will be equal to 1 upon 3 VA plus 2 VB. Now instead of this 2 VB, I can write this in form of 1 upon 3 VA minus VB plus VB. So do mind well, this 1 upon 3 is applicable to both this VA plus 2 VB. So that's why, so actually you can put this 2 VB as minus VB plus 3 VB, and that 3 will be cancelled with this 1 upon 3, and that's why it is only plus VB. Now put, say, this equation number 4 and this is say equation number 5. Now let us go for the relationship of VA0. Now VA0 minus VB will be also equal to 1 upon 3 VA minus VB, and this VB is itself the fault voltage, or you can say fault current drop, IF into ZF. So say equation number 4, 5, 6 they are same. See, take a look. See, equation 4, 5, 6 are same. It means these three voltage drops are equal. Three voltages are equal. See, it is only possible when the connection is parallel. So this important relationship, that VA1 equal to VA2 equal to VA0 minus IF into ZF, will help us construct the interconnection of three sequence network. See, let us take a special case of this LLG fault. If there is no fault through impedance, if ZF is 0, then definitely VA1, VA2 and VA0 they are same. It directly indicates the connection of the sequence network is parallel. In this equation IF, see IF can be replaced by IA0. Now can you tell me what should be the relationship between the fault current IF and the zero sequence current IA0? Can you have some idea? So let us derive. We know that IA0 is equal to 1 upon 3 IA plus IB plus IC. Now as IA is 0 in the boundary condition, so IA0 is equal to 1 upon 3 IB plus IC. One more thing, IB and IC both are forming IF. IB plus IC is IF itself. So my second boundary condition gives you IB plus IC is equal to IF, and that's why IA0 is equal to 1 upon 3 IF. And that's why I can say fault current is 3 times zero sequence current. Now put the value of the fault current from this equation into this equation. So now at last we are having very important relationship, and that is VA1 equal to VA2 equal to VA0 minus IF into ZF, or I can state VA0 minus 3 times IA0 into ZF. Now this gives us idea to construct interconnection of 3 sequence network. All the 3 sequence networks are to be connected in parallel. As IA is equal to 0, 3 sequence currents are meeting at a junction, and that summation is also 0. Now let us construct interconnection of 3 sequence networks. Say equation number 7. Take a look at this block diagram. 3 sequence network, positive, negative and 0 sequence, they are connected in parallel. All the 3 currents IA1, IA2, IA0, they are getting injected at a junction point. So it obeys Kirchhoff's current law, that algebraic sum of 3 currents IA1, IA2, IA0, they are meeting at this junction, and that is equal to 0. In the 0 sequence network, do mind well, 0 sequence voltage VA0 minus 3 times IA0 into ZF, that voltage is actually VA1 and VA2. So that's why this parallel connection is possible via 3ZF. Now the same connection can be represented by equivalent circuit interconnection. Positive sequence network will be having a source and Z1, a negative sequence and 0 sequence, they are not having any source. 0 sequence network will be definitely having 3Zn term, and this is what is the interconnection. Now we can easily derive this IA1, IA2 and IA0 from this diagram itself without any mathematical chunks. How? See, you can see there is only one source, so we can apply current divider rule to find out this IA2 and IA0 if I know IA1. Fine. Or we can say we can just use basic fundamentals of electrical engineering to obtain IA1, IA2 and IA0, and then fault current is actually 3 times sequence current, 3 times 0 sequence current, so it can be easily obtained. So now can you tell me how will you obtain the sequence current? Say first IA1, then IA2 and IA0. See, actually fault current is only 3 times IA0, so that is enough, but we shall also obtain IA1 and IA2. So how will you obtain IA1? So let me give you a hint. Now you can see from this diagram that these 2 branches are in parallel. Z0G, 3Zn, 3Zf are in series. That is in parallel with Z2, and that is in series with Z1. So applying Ohm's law in this network reduced by this series parallel combination, therefore this IA1 will be equal to EA divided by Z equivalent of this entire network, and Z equivalent is the parallel combination of Z2 with Z0 plus 3ZF, and that combination is in series with Z1, and that's why IA1 will be equal to EA upon Z1 plus Z2 in parallel with 3ZF plus Z0. Z0 is again consisting of Z0G and 3Zn. The same thing can be obtained by mathematical way. So let us take a look on that mathematical way in the next slides. Next two slides are there only. In that we shall again use the boundary conditions and whatever the equation we derived. Say equation number 7, we already derived this VA1 equal to VA2 equal to VA0 minus IF into ZF or minus 3IA0 into ZF. Now put the value of VA1 over here and put VA1 equal to EA minus IA1 into ZF and take IA0 on one side. So IA0 is expressed in terms of IA1. Similarly, use VA2 and take IA2 on the other side. It means express IA2 in terms of IA1. Now use these two equations, IA0 in terms of IA1 and IA2 in terms of IA1 in the basic equation of the boundary condition. Suppose this is equation number 8 and this is equation number 9. So using equation number 8 and 9 into basic boundary conditions, IA equal to 0. So at last you will be in a position to derive this equation, and this equation is what I already told you, what you can obtain from the basic laws of the electrical engineering from that parallel connection network. Here IA1 is equal to EA upon Z1 plus parallel combination of Z2 and Z0 plus 3ZF. Equation of IA1 will lead us to have further IA0 and IA2 using current divider rule. So let us take a look back at sequence network interconnections. From that we will have an idea how to apply current divider rule. So this is the sequence network interconnections. Now IA1 is the incoming current. IA2 and IA0 both are also getting injected, so we can consider outgoing current as minus IA2 and minus IA0. Now total current is IA1 and that is getting distributed into minus IA2 and minus IA0 as the outgoing current. How to apply current divider rule? Suppose if I want to find out IA2, then IA2 is equal to total injected current IA1 into the fraction. Fraction is the ratio of the opposite branch impedance divided by summation of both branch impedance. So my IA2 will become this IA1 and this IA2 is actually minus IA2. So IA2 is equal to minus IA1 into Z0 G plus 3Zn plus 3ZF divided by Z2 plus Z0 G plus 3Zn plus 3ZF. Similarly, we can obtain IA0. So IA0 is equal to total injected current, say IA1 means minus IA1 into fraction. Fraction is the ratio of opposite branch impedance to the total of both branch, and that's why IA0 is equal to minus IA1 into Z2 divided by Z2 plus Z0 G plus 3Zn plus 3ZF. Fine, and that is what is shown in the last slide. And mind well, my fault current is actually 3 times ZF. So using current divider rule, this final expressions can be obtained. IA2 is equal to minus IA1 as I told you from the diagram, Z0 plus 3ZF divided by Z2 plus Z0 plus 3ZF. Similarly, IA0 is equal to minus IA1 into Z2 upon Z2 plus Z0 plus 3ZF, and my fault current is 3 times IA0 or IB plus IC from the boundary conditions. So this is how we have completed all the 3 short circuit faults which are unsymmetrical faults. Hope you would have learnt a lot of things. Thank you.